My name is Jack Weallans. I am a master's student on the Innovation and Sound course, just at the end of my final year. So my final project is a audiovisual exploration of the possibilities of modern technology, but also the anxieties around those and their impact on human experience. Obviously the conversations at the moment is kind of technology is in the light, especially in terms of the art world. People are kind of, on two sides of the fence of that impact on, artists' jobs and what it means in terms of ownership, which I do find interesting. However, for me, there is like a deeper fear, which has already kind of been in the works for the last kind of decade or two, which is the more covert systems that are kind of influencing our lives. So the digital technologies that kind of have an impact on our more abstract human experience. For example, Spotify algorithms that kind of tell us, obviously are based on user input, but they kind of start shaping our own, what we actually like, and we start listening to stuff and we kind of like lose agency within that. And so, I want to look more at that and like that, worries around that, like also looking at more human experiences such as desire and spirituality. So I started, exploring those concepts, like reading a lot and like really thinking about what makes us us. Alongside that, I was researching modern technologies, and so looking at AI, deep faking, CGI technologies. So that's culminated in an audiovisual piece which is using photogrammetry, 3D modeling, and the game engines to recreate myself, and then deep learning machine AI to replicate my voice, to create a completely artificial version of myself, with the intention of kind of bridging the gap between what is authentic and sincere and what isn't. And for me, I'm in recovery from drug addiction, and my process of staying in recovery involves essentially spirituality, honesty, sincerity, love. And so these were all things that I was like, okay, like that to me is like, and it's my own personal human experience, but it's also something that I think like can't yet be replicated within those machines. So, I was trying to go down those avenues. So I spent a lot of time interviewing people who were in a similar place to me, transcribing interviews, feeding those into AI to try and get AI to like learn those like basic things. That it's not quite there, which is good. Obviously at the moment AI is mostly language models, and it's like it can't learn experience. That's more that it's capped. So, but in that process, I was creating this kind of the core concept of the content within this thing, what the avatar was actually going to create. My favorite part of this project was kind of like opening up the potential of all the technologies that are out there, and being able to create essentially a fully autonomous art practice where like every aspect can actually be covered by one user on a scale that's like potentially endless. It's like, from the project I've learned that my fears are somewhat justified. However, there is like actually quite a lot of positive potential for this stuff. And it's finding that balance between progress that's for the good of, people, and whilst being wary of the stuff that could potentially be of harm. For me, I didn't know any of it, like all the technology that I've used in this project, bar Max MSP, I had no previous knowledge of. But yeah, it's all straight, you can get it for free, like Unreal is free for non-commercial use. So there's a lot of the motion capture stuff, polycam, photogrammetry, it's all just out there. And I guess one of the benefits of, living in this technological world that we're now in is like, people are very free with information. The great thing about dBs and the master's degree, it's very open to what you can do and achieve. And I feel like the module throughout has, encouraged that. It's currently a very divergent, exploratory process. But also there's a very much a shared research element, I believe, to dBs, both with the staff and the students, where people will pass on information and be like, oh, I've recently read this. So that's also been a great help. And to be around other students and like a small community, it's always really supportive and really encouraging and inspiring.